And tonight, the pasta is happening. Period. You look amazing, as you should. Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. So you are the mastermind
Can you believe it?
behind this project. Of course, they will let you make a movie. And I mean, this is literally a groundbreaking movie. Like, I'm so excited to see, all of the different lives that are affected, and changed by is so empowering.
From your lips to God's ears.
Absolutely. So you have to take me back. Take me all the way back. I want to say Nelly, Leah. Like, where did this story come from? Obviously, it's real life happenings that we as women, some of the men that we're with, oh God, maybe that didn't come out the right way.
You get it.
Are living. You know what I'm saying? You see me? You
yeah.
see me? Like, tell me, how did this come about? Like, why did you feel like it was important to, like, now is the time, like, it's happening, I'm putting it out there for the world to see?
The film was inspired by my true experience of freezing my eggs. I was freezing them, and I was bloated, and I was lonely, and I was sad on my couch, and I was looking for a film that could speak to my experience. And I kept looking up films about fertility, and they were always about couples trying to get pregnant. And I was like, that is not my story at all. It doesn't reflect my journey. And I want a film that helps women that are going through this process feel a little bit less alone.
So obviously you're the writer, the director, and you also played the key role as Nelly. Why was it important for you to, step into those shoes and not just stay behind the scene of this story?
In some ways, I didn't want to impose a vision so heavily onto an actor. And I knew that I was willing to get naked and show my bloated belly and go for it and get really kind of ugly and gritty and uncomfortable. And I, in some ways, didn't want to force an actress to go further than she was prepared to. I didn't want to coerce anyone, and I have been in that position of being coerced as an actor. So I had this really clear vision of what the story required, and I just thought, I volunteer as tribute. I am ready to, I can direct myself, and I can go as far as I am willing to. And I know that behind the lens is a woman that I hired myself. In the editing room is my editor, a woman I hired myself and myself. I felt that I was safe enough to go to these places.
So tell me also, how long has the project been in the works?
I wrote it at the top of 2022. I froze my eggs in 2021. I wrote it at the top of 2022, and I shot it that summer, which does not typically happen, but I was very insistent that we are shooting this and we are shooting this now. I refuse to go into development and have my film get hacked to pieces.
Absolutely love that. And before I let you go, so you took us on a journey. You took us on your journey, all of the ebbs and flows that we as women go through. The pressures that we feel from, parents, family members, best friends, cousins, right? Hell, even these men, we saw your entire journey. And you weren't necessarily all the way connected to all of those men sexually, which was quite interesting to me because I wonder, like, was there more just trying to see if you can still, like, kind of get their attention in time? Like, what was that, that aspect of the
throwback tour? Why did she go on the throwback tour?
I love that, the throwback tour. Listen, we are... Listen, we are over here trying to be serious right now. Listen, we all know about the throwback tour.
Tour. For me, Nelly's throwback tour is about revisiting old loves to see if the butterflies are there, to see if a feeling comes back, if there's chemistry, are there laughs, is there banter, is there sexuality, are we going to hook up, am I feeling, is my body in it, is my heart in it, is my mind in it, is my spirit in it? So many boxes need to be checked for a relationship to work, and then talk about a healthy relationship with communication and support for each other. I think Nelly she's grasping at straws. She's looking for connection. She's looking to feel less alone in the world and maybe looking in the wrong places and ends up finding it ultimately in herself.
I absolutely love the film. I'm looking forward to how amazing it does. You did a phenomenal job. Congratulations on absolutely everything.
Oh my God,
everything.
Thank you so
Congratulations.
Much. This is crazy. It's wild. Thank you for being
crazy.
Here.
Yeah, I loved it. Congrats on everything. Everything. You too. Clancy, who are you looking for? Where is she?
I don't know.
What color does she have on?
Hiding behind you a second.
Would you want to wait on her to talk to me, or are you ready to talk to me now? So, Clancy, listen, you played the father throughout this film, and I loved your role because it was very, like, three-dimensional.
Oh.
Okay? It was obviously very sarcastically humorous.
That's the writing.
Clancy, I would say a little bit cold-hearted towards Nelly, just
That's
a
the
tad
writing.
bit, and very, empathetic. But I will say empathetic towards the end with your daughter Nelly. Clancy, you've been a part of, if I'm not mistaken, 329 projects over the duration of your career. How has this particular film different from all of the others that you've been a part of?
Wow, from all of the others, it's different from all of the others for one main reason, and it rhymes with Leah McKendrick. Leah is a singular talent, I think. She's the whole package, and she wrote, directed, produced. She did the whole Megillah and starred in it. And there's very few people that can do something like that. I mean, I couldn't do it, but and she's a terrific director, as well as a terrific actress and a terrific writer. So I don't know what she's strongest at, but that would be, I know that would be the one thing I would say is definitely Leah. Leah's the bomb. Leah's the thing. She's something special.
I love to hear that because actually everyone that's stopped by, to speak with me has literally said the exact same thing about her.
Something new. Leah, she's horrible. She should wrap it up. I didn't mean to say the same thing, but yeah.
What you said. So listen, Clancy, I actually read somewhere that you're somewhat of an avid reader. Do you have a special or favorite book and or author that you literally, carry with you throughout your life?
Well, my daughter has turned me on to a lot of new authors. But the go-to is always like Shakespeare or science fiction or something like that, something easy. Something easy like that.
Just an easy little read. And before I let you go, because I did a little bit of research, if I'm not mistaken, you went to Northwestern University.
Yeah, did you?
Listen, I did not, but I literally live minutes away from Northwestern University. You see, so we
Evanston?
Evanston.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. So we have a little bit of similarity there.
Okay.
Clancy, you started off in track there, and then you made the pivot towards focusing on theater. How did that come about, and how was that change, from going in with the track mindset to theater and arts? I want to know. I want to know, Clancy. We taking it back.
Okay.
Northwestern Day.
Yeah, well, the coach there, who was great, named Don Amity, he sat me down, I think, the end of my sophomore year, beginning of my junior year, and he said he had seen me in a show, and he goes, "Okay, you're a much better actor than you are an athlete," which I took personally, but he said, so why don't you give me back my scholarship and be
Are you serious, Clancy?
and go and study acting? And I said, well, I can't give you back the scholarship. And he said, okay, well then in that case, keep the scholarship. Just invite me to the Academy Awards or something. So I have yet to go to the Academy Awards. But I got a mission. I got to get Don Amity there.
I love that. Oh, thank you so much.
I don't know, man.
There's still time. And again, you've been a part of 329 projects.
Yeah, so it's not like I haven't been trying to get him there, right? I've totally been trying, Don, to get you to the Academy Award. It's just, not my fault.
Listen, Clancy, you are well on your way. Do you?
I'm just trying.
Listen, it was so awesome chatting with you. Congratulations on everything. I'm going to see you at the Academy Awards very soon.
I'll see you in Evanston, maybe. Around Thanksgiving, maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Clancy. You have to tell me what has been a part of such a, emotional, touching, extremely funny yet explicit film such as this. Like, what has this process been like for you, and like, how has this project, touched you?
Yeah. Well, I've known Leah McKendrick, the writer, director, star, for many years, and she's so deserving of this. We need voices like hers out there making movies like this, telling these kind of stories. It's one of those things where, like, when you read the script, you go, how has this movie not been made yet? Because I know, I'm in my mid-30s, so I know a lot of women going through this exact thing, these exact issues that she's talking about in this movie. Yeah, absolutely. So it's very timely. It's very touching. It's very funny. I mean, it's just a really special little film, and I'm honestly honored to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And in what ways do you anticipate, this movie and the story in general that so many women are a part of? Like, in what ways do you feel like it will grasp the attention of the audience and the viewers?
Well, Leah has a very special talent of taking subject matters that, I don't know, that perhaps difficult to tackle, and doing them in such a kind of mainstream way, if that makes sense. Like, the last movie I did with her was a very, very different movie, but a similar sort of thing. She took a subject that's hard to confront and put it, in the context of a genre that's very popular. So she almost kind of like back channels her way into our minds. You know what I mean? She gets us in by presenting this really like funny, sweet movie, and you go in just because of, like, you see the cast and you see the trailer and you go, oh, this looks really funny, and then she sort of tricks you into feeling all the feels. So yeah.
I love it. And before I let you go, what is the one thing fans would be absolutely surprised to know about you? Give me a good juicy secret.
Something fans would be surprised to know about me? Ah, geez. Well, here.
Something that you want the world to know.
Yeah. Well, so I do have kids. I have 2 kids. And the thing about that is that you do sort of pause your understanding of culture for about a decade while the kids are growing up. So you completely understand. Yeah. So my life basically is just going to, and I wouldn't have it any other way, but it's going to revolve around them until they get to the point where they don't want to talk to me anymore, which we're not at that point. So.
I have definitely reached that point. Okay. My son is 20, so yeah.
Yeah, well, that'll do it. Yeah. Well, they're still young enough that they want daddy time any chance they can get it. So that's been my life. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on everything.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure talking with you also.
Hi.
Hey, of course I want you over here. I love the bow tie. I love the blazer. So I'm that weird interviewer on the carpet who, like, pays attention to the looks first and foremost. That is me.
Okay.
That is me.
Well, I've been wearing this jacket every time I have to go to a premiere.
No, you don't.
No, I do.
No, do you really? Is it like your good luck charm?
No, it's just kind of like, I don't like buying clothes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
This is like a serious moment.
Is
You are dead.
serious.
Like, he's.
No,
I can't say the A word.
I
He's
don't
dead
buy-
serious.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. I should more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, talk to me about your journey towards, becoming a part of this project in general. Like, how did it fall into your lap? How many auditions did it take? Like, take me on a journey.
So my friend Max Adler, who's in this film, told me about Leah, and then we kind of linked up, and then she had this part that, like, the part I play was like kind of crazy. Oops, spoiler alert. But yeah, I just really resonated with it, and so we met up, and then it was fun, and yeah, it felt right.
So tell me, prior to saying yes to the role, prior to saying yes, were you already familiar, with the IVF, process in general? Because I'm not going, and see, that's why I didn't want to make the assumption that, okay, everybody that was a part of the project, like, of course they were knowledgeable about IVF, but yeah, like, what are some of the takeaways from this entire, film that you literally have in your back pocket? Like, do you have a different or higher appreciation for women going through this?
Oh, no, absolutely. Also, because I'm 34 now, in 2 weeks, I've been running into women that, they have a time limit. And so it's like, oh, I never thought about that ever, really, because I'm, a guy and I used to be young and, that thing. But yeah, it's a real thing. I mean, and I couldn't imagine giving needles to myself. I have a needle fear.
As
I'm holding my stomach.
As he holds his stomach, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So before I let you go, what is it that fans and viewers should look forward to seeing throughout the film with your character?
With my character? Oh my god. Well, he goes from 0 to 100 pretty instantly. Yeah. And that's really fun to do. Yeah, that's what drew me to the role, honestly. It's like the arc was huge in like 2 minutes. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks
It was
for
a pleasure chatting with you. No, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Hey there, beautiful. You look amazing. So I definitely want to start there.
Okay. Thank you.
Take the flight. Yes, you are. You are. So, listen, you started up a little riff-raff on this film in a good way. In a good way. Relaying the information to Nelly that, listen, girl, your boo got another woman pregnant and got a baby on the way. Talk to me about your role, right? I loved your role. It was such a bold, yet, soft, feminine, empathetic role all at the same time. What is it that viewers can expect to see with your character?
I think this whole movie is, aside from Nellie, like very much an ensemble piece. So I don't think it's all at all about this person as much as how all of the people in Nellie's life really challenge her to find her own way through this life and her navigating. On paper, we all thought, oh, at 25, we're gonna get married and have the dream wedding and have the Barbie house, which is no longer the what's in the zeitgeist. Yeah, and I think for Nellie to leave this relationship, spoiler, and then to decide to freeze her eggs and find her own journey is really what it's about. So everybody around her not understanding that, including Jen, telling her maybe someone's moved on or that, freezing your eggs might be dangerous or expensive. It's like all the unhelpful input we get from people can be challenging in our journey, and it's really her journey. So, yeah.
And how has this project differed from others that you have, previously worked on? So obviously I know we don't have anything as of yet until now on the big screen, centered around stories like that. But, this is very different from, in general, but this project is different from others that you have previously taken on. In what ways would you say that it has been different?
Okay. I would say, first of all, Leah's script, and this is, everybody usually says that the things they're in are great. And we say that, but you really mean it. Everybody who came on this movie came on for very little money to be there for Leah, who's absolutely incredible. And I have to say that people try to write, direct, and star in their own projects, and sometimes it's for financial reasons, sometimes it's for vanity reasons, but Leah is one of the first people I've encountered in the business where when you're doing all three things at the same time, she is impeccable, and she's right there at all three of them. And it was amazing how she held down this fort. The first day I was there were 50 people there, and she's orchestrating the whole set while she's looking in my eyes, crying into my eyes, and then directing all these people, and then she wrote the damn thing, and it's hilarious and heartbreaking. And I just think it's all about this time that people who are really talented and have a voice can now have a voice. And this movie is way more bold and has more heart than just a normal comedy, where I think a lot of it is it's fun to laugh, it's fun to make jokes, and I love that. But there's so much depth in this movie, and I'm just grateful to be supporting that. And even if I'm a jerk who is making it harder for her along the way, that's part of the journey. So
this is true. And we all have friends like that. I wouldn't say jerk friends, but just those real friends, true, authentic friends. I'm like, girl, listen.
Yeah. And I mean, some of us are trying to help and don't know how to help. And I think that's also part of friendship and adult female friendship and sort of boundaries and learning what that means. And so some of us were lucky and to learn it as children, and many of us are learning it as adults. And I think Jen is probably one of those people. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
All right.
Set up.
It's all good. So, Max, Max, you played a role of Ron on this amazing film. I am so interested to hear, as a man, what has being a part of this project meant to you?
Oh man, it's been incredible because so many times, usually there's a lot of men on set. And there's this kind of machismo energy or ego or sometimes lack of respect. And this was the complete opposite. This was beautiful because it was mostly women behind and in front of the camera, writing, acting. And there was just this beautiful like zen on set. There was a respect. There was this empowerment. There was building each other up. There was working together as a team. There was listening to other ideas. There was collaboration, there was support. It was just like love, really. And it was just like, there's like a love of like, we're doing this together. And look at the result. Like an awesome film that's getting pretty great distribution for being like a little engine that could, small indie film. Leah, who, McKendrick, who wrote and starred, directed, just set an example that was, I've never seen, like she knew her lines, she knew our lines, she knew the makeup, she knew the wardrobe, she knew the locations. Like she's just a star. And so, getting to meet her, getting to work with her, getting to know her, and then everyone else here actually meant a lot, considering it was just a small role. But just being in that world kind of was an experience that I will forever cherish.
It sounds like at the end all be all, women bring peace to the set.
Man, well, and the part of the world and politics, and we could just use more women in all areas of leadership. Yeah.
This is true, Max. So prior to saying yes to your role, were you already familiar or knowledgeable about the IVF process, that women embark upon and tap into?
I was. Actually, I have a 3.5-year-old named Dylan. And so we were, me and my wife, who's over here, were very aware of all the things going on, and all of our friends were dealing with either natural or IVF or lots of freezing eggs. Lots of talking to women that didn't have a partner and wanted time, or that did have a partner and wanted more time. So I was aware, but it was rare to see somebody talk about it so candidly and openly and with vulnerability to strangers. I think that's very empowering because I also knew women that were like, I'm kind of doing it. Like I feel weird talking to my dad or my brother, and like there was like a shame. And I think this removes that stigma and kind of empowers women to be like, no, like I'm doing this and I'm doing it because I want it and I'm doing it because it's my choice and my life and my body. And I thought that was great. And also, learning just like how much harder it is to get pregnant than what they taught us in high school.
What they taught us in high school and grade school, let's be clear, right?
I mean, it's like shake your hand because you don't get pregnant. And now, no, I see, I know, and I see how hard it is, and I'm like, it's a miracle that any of us.
It's not as easy as the world thought.
No, and then you actually there's the birth part of it, and then the raising children part of it, and I'm like, how are we all here, like walking and talking and following rules mostly? Yeah.
So let me ask you this, Max. Do you feel like, because I personally feel like once this film hit the theater, it's like I feel like it's going to create a movement.
Yeah.
I think it's going to create a movement in the television, the film industry. I think that we're going to continue to see and hear even more conversations centered around this. Like, is that something that you would agree with?
I would agree with that, and I would hope for that. Not only a conversation about IVF and fertility and freezing eggs and women's choices and women's rights and women's bodies, but just, I think, women filmmakers in general, and women empowerment, and women crews and cast, and just like what a success it can be if you kind of change up the regime that's usually calling the shots and give people a fighting chance to tell their story and be seen on camera in a way that usually probably has been either laughed at or shut down 10 years ago. Kind of like Barbie, I feel like there's like this, people want it, people learn from it, people need it, people appreciate it, people depend on it. So yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, like everything. Listen, so we have to start, Mariah, with a glam moment. If we can just give the people a glimpse of what's happening on this carpet today. Thank you so much. So, Mariah, you serve the purpose of, she's a hot commodity. Listen, so you're one of the producers behind the scenes of this amazing film. You also play a role throughout the film. Why was it important for you to not only, fulfill the shoes as a producer, but to also appear on the big screen in some capacity? Why was that important to you?
Oh, that's such a great question. And truthfully, I think I love all elements of storytelling. And Leah McKendrick is a frequent collaborator and a dear friend of mine. And I want to support her and the stories that she tells. So I'm grateful that we got to work together again.
I'm so curious to hear, just as a woman, in what ways are you able to, and did you relate to the story, both, on the professional end of things and the personal spectrum?
Another great question. These awesome ones. But I think for me, I'm turning 30 this year, and it's really the first year that I have started to feel the pressure. And I'm really excited to turn 30. I don't feel daunted, but I definitely know in the industry, there's so much that I still want to do. And I want to make sure that I fulfill some of those dreams for myself before I think about starting to have a family, because I want that to be my priority when that happens or if that happens. So I think this film's really inspired me to plan ahead. And that's a way to do that. A great contingency is to freeze your eggs or freeze your embryos. There's so many more opportunities and excellence and, excellence in women's fertility and opportunities we have. So definitely inspired to look at that and hopefully make some changes in my own life.
I love it. So this, to me, this film, obviously it touched me in multiple ways because I am a woman, right? So there were like a lot of ebbs and flows throughout the film. Listen, this could have simply been a film about IVF, right? Freezing your eggs. Yet, as a producer, alongside the rest of the team, you guys took the route of really tapping into Nellie's life. The explicit scenes, and I'm not trying to give too much away, right? But just the journey and the path that she was on and that she still kind of went through and experienced and, tapped in and out of throughout her IVF journey. Like, why was it important to show Nellie in that capacity?
That is, at the end of the day, it's based on Leah's real life and Leah's experiences. Obviously, it's a fictional depiction, but I think there's, so much of her and other young women's stories in this film. And I think it's important to show women as they are every single day. And that's not perfect. We're growing, changing every single way, every single day. So I think, showing this process as well. A lot of people know about IVF. They don't really know about the opportunities of freezing your eggs and what that looks like. So I think showing it in a raw, unfiltered, hilarious, fun, exciting way and it's also powerful. And there's moments where you're really going to feel it and pull on your heartstrings. So I think showing it in that way is the best way that we can start a conversation.
Yeah, and before I let you go, I think it's also very important to point out the fact that it is, a very heavy life that she lived. I really appreciate the fact that you guys beamed the light on, the pressures that we as women deal with from family members, from friends, being forced to go to some of the baby showers you may or may not want to attend, the weddings, and just kind of feeling like you're the only one still hanging, single, babyless, so I really just want to point out, I love the direction that you guys took with taking such a heavy story and transforming it into, a lightweight, humorous journey, so why was it important to lighten the load?
For sure. Well, first off, you got to tell Leah that is going to make her day, because I think that was the goal, to shed light on a topic that so many women feel, but people don't necessarily talk about every single day. So thank you. And also, I think that it's an opportunity to start conversations, and we don't grow and evolve if we don't have conversations. So I think through film and comedy, it's a great way to talk about the heavy stuff. It gives you an opportunity to laugh and learn, and that's the best way to do it.
L&L. Well, thank you so much, Mariah, and congratulations on your journey that you will soon embark upon. Congrats. You look amazing. Amazing. Hey, you one of the main men. So of course I'm doing good. How are you? With that beautiful smile. No, thank you so much. So talk to me about this project and how it came about for you, and what was it that made you say yes? Heck yes.
So Leah McKendrick, who is standing right over here, is a good friend of mine. She and I did a film called MFA back in 2017, which she wrote. And then when she told me she was doing this film, which is semi-autobiographical about her life and things so close to her that she's going through, I said, please find a place for me. And so she did.
What would you say has been like the most rewarding and most exciting part of this film and working on it, and your character in general?
Yeah, so I think the most rewarding part of this film is, you know how you have people in your life that you just hope that they succeed, and when they shine, you all shine, and you're just so proud of them. That is Leah for me, and this is her first time directing, and I just to watch her on set running the show, but also as the lead character, just giving it her all. It was like watching your sister. Like she's like my sister, so that was really sweet. And the fact that she allowed me to be a part of the film as an actor was really special.
And let me ask you one thing before I let you go. If there was one thing that you can change about Hollywood in general or the film industry, what would be the one thing you would change about the industry? You can be honest with me.
Yeah, great question. I think things are changing for the better in Hollywood right now. I think that for the last decade especially, I think Hollywood is starting to pay attention to the need for original stories. It's not just sequel, this, and characters that used to be supporting characters are now allowed to be the stars of the movie and the stars of the show. And audiences are connecting with that, and these pictures are winning Best Pictures, whether it's Minari or Parasite or so many of these other movies that are getting the acclaim that they would have gotten 30 years ago had they been given the spotlight. And Hollywood's realizing that. So I hope that it continues. I hope that we see more original stories, and I hope to be a part of those stories for anybody watching.
You're here. You heard it from the man himself. Thank you so much for chatting with me. On this insane, humorous, a little bit explicit film. Yeah. So talk to me about how this project came about for you. I'm so interested to hear.
I had received the audition just through my agent, and interestingly enough, my wife and I have been on our own fertility journey since we've been married for about 5 years now. We went through the whole deal with IUI and IVF, and we ended up making some embryos and ended up finding a surrogate who's carrying our first child, and who we're expecting in June. But so when I got the audition, we had been through all this process, and the role was fertility doctor. And I realized when I got the sides, it's like, I know this. Like, I understand what's going on here. And it just felt like it was almost meant to be, because I felt like, I know this part. I sat in the room for these ultrasounds with my wife. And it really kind of worked out. So.
Congratulations, first of all. I mean, I feel like you literally just answered 2 to 3.
Yes,
okay, so you checked off my list. Yeah. Let's be clear, right? So, I mean, although your wife and you personally went through, this journey yourself and explored this path personally, is there any other takeaway from this film, that you literally walked away with in your back pocket that you weren't expecting? To carry.
I think, as you'll see, there hasn't been a film about this or like this before, and I think it's not only hilarious, but it's such an important message for women, everywhere, especially young women. If you're thinking about someday potentially having children, it's something to think about to freeze your eggs, because I think as we've discovered ourselves and through a lot of friends of ours that giving birth is not quite as straightforward as you might think, and so it's just important to really protect yourself or protect your future in terms of making sure you have all the opportunities that you.
I want to pivot back to something that you just said before I let you go. Why do you feel like it has taken so long? Because this is definitely a piece of art that has yet to hit the big screen. We literally have nothing out, in theaters or coming to theaters aside from this film, about stories like this centered around the fertility, and IVF process in general. Why do you think that it has taken us until 2024 to shine a light?
I mean, I think, we unfortunately right now live in a country in which women's rights and reproductive rights are being, attacked and eliminated all over the place. And I think this is just another part of that is, the ability to freeze your eggs is taking control of your own body and your own opportunities. And I think we absolutely should see more of that in our media. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on your journey. You and your wife. Congrats. All right. Thank you. So I just spoke with your husband who played the doctor throughout this film, and it would be remiss of me to not ask you a personal question. Obviously just based off some of the things that your husband just shared, you too as a woman have explored this path, freezing the eggs, IVF, so in what ways has this particular film touched you emotionally?
It was so timely this film was so timely for us and where we were in our lives and where I was in my own life. It just, when we went and saw it in South by Southwest, we just laughed and we just cried. I cried the whole film because it just felt so personal, and it's not a story that's been told in film before. And when we started down the fertility journey 5 years ago and discovered that it wasn't going to be so straightforward and easy for us, we had no idea until we were there, how common that story is and how many people struggle with fertility or have just not straightforward, journeys toward, making a family. And so it just felt like, I don't know, an important part of telling that story and showing a little bit different angle on that. Sorry. Showing a different,
No, this is definitely a lot to wrap your mind around. Of course, me being an older age woman, yikes, why would I say that? But before I let you go, I want to ask you about the financial aspect of IVF. So based off my research, I know that one cycle can range anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 plus.
Yeah.
Do you feel as if this somewhat, cheats and is unfair and unjust to women who, have to and or may be forced to explore this route?
Absolutely.
It's right? It's a little unfair.
No, absolutely. I felt all the feelings, through this journey, and a lot of it was anger, and how unfair it was. And also, we got married a little bit later. I was, I think, 38 when we got married, and I'd never been pregnant and before then, and had never tried. And so when we first started to try, I was already of that geriatric age, and I had an OBGYN in my early 30s say, oh, if you're still single and you want to maybe get, be a mom someday, you should think about freezing your eggs, and had given me a pamphlet. But it was I was so living paycheck to paycheck in a crappy Hollywood apartment. I didn't have at that point, I don't think I even had insurance, not that it covers it anyway, but it was, and so it was not even an option for me at the time. And then, being 38 and 39, I think 40 by the time we actually got to the egg freezing, it's a lot harder. And we ended up having to do 3 rounds of it, where I was if it hadn't been so prohibitively expensive when I'd first heard about it, I may have had more success and it would have been maybe a little quicker. So, it's complicated. And of course, if
complicated and hella pricey.
And and definitely there's a privilege because we had a lot of support and help from family. This is not something that we've floated on our own, and so we're just really lucky in that sense that we have that support and know that not everyone has that. And
thanks for letting me in and sharing part of your story with me. Congratulations. Congrats. Thank you so much.
And this necklace, actually, I think Theo told you that we are expecting now by a surrogate. This was a Christmas gift from our surrogate, and these are estrase pills. It's estrogen. So these were part of the fertility process, pills that I took in the IVF process, and then she took, and so she had this made as a little necklace charm for me.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.